Welcome to Let's Automate It with Robin. This is a channel dedicated to automation, to AI, and to creating amazing workflows. Today we're going to talk about how to install n8n, my favorite automation platform, how to set it up on your own server so you can run unlimited automations for free. The only cost you're going to pay is a tiny hosting fee, and I've got a trick for that as well. Let's dive straight in. n8n is an absolutely fantastic platform. It's incredibly flexible, very, very powerful, and most of all, it is free if you host it yourself. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. This might appear slightly technical, but I promise you it's straightforward. Just follow along with me, cut and paste. I'm going to make it super easy. And by the end of this video, you're going to have your own n8n installation set up, and you're going to be able to run automations, build incredibly powerful automations, unlock your AI agency, your automation agency, or just make amazing flows to make your life, your business that much better, that's much more efficient. Let's take a quick look at what n8n is all about. n8n.io is their homepage, and they have an option where you can buy a license with them, and they will host for you, and they'll take care of a lot of what we're going to go do today. They'll take care of for you. So if this feels in any way beyond your skill level, and trust me, it's really straightforward, you can always spend a bit of money and have them take care of things for you. But you can get started for free as well. Let's look at some of the highlights. Right here on the screen, you're going to see an interface. Now, you may have used something like Zapier before, probably the most popular automation platform around, but Zapier is quite different in how it gets put together. I really enjoy tools like make.com and n8n, and this is what the n8n interface looks like. We've got different nodes, and then we connect these nodes, and each node does a different job, and we can pass information between nodes. It's very logical, it's very intuitive. Make.com works in a similar fashion, and I find this a lot easier to be creative with than a tool like Zapier. The other fantastic feature about n8n, which is relatively recent, is they now have integrated AI, the ability to pull AI agents, AI conversations, large language models, that we can pull these directly into our workflows and create incredibly powerful workflows harnessing the power of AI. This is intuitive, it's really, really powerful, and I'm really enjoying that. And in this channel, we're going to be diving into a lot of AI work as well, how to bring things in. They have the ability to run code in their workflow. This is somewhat unique to n8n in that we can execute code right inside the tool. We don't need a third-party tool, which is fantastic. And most of all, I love this section. They've got over 400 integrations. That's integrations with third-party tools where we can either fetch information and manipulate it and push information into other tools and just connect things up and really make incredible workflows. And if there isn't an integration, they have nodes that are kind of Swiss Army knife nodes, where if there's a tool you want to integrate with that's not on the list, you can use these Swiss Army knife nodes to plug into any tool that's got an API or has the ability to send or receive or catch webhooks. So really, it's unlimited what we can do with that. But enough about that. Let's dive into exactly how to install n8n. Follow along with me. It's going to be fun. So I have on the screen here, and I'll put the link down in the description of this video, but n8n has kindly given us step-by-step directions on how to install n8n on DigitalOcean. Now, let me talk about DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is a hosting company, and they specialize in VPSs, virtual private servers. They call them droplets. I guess the logic is a whole bunch of droplets make up an ocean, and there's a DigitalOcean. Now, in the link below as well, in the description, I'm going to below this video, I'm going to stick a link where if you use that link, it's my affiliate link. I do get a bit of credit if you use it. No skin off your nose, but what you do get is $200 of free credit with DigitalOcean. So there's absolutely no reason not to go and grab your own DigitalOcean account using my link below. I win, you win, happy days. So go and do that. But let's dive in. Let's check this out. So we're going to just work through these. We're going to work through these instructions together. Some of it's going to be a little bit complex, but that's okay. We're going to cut and paste it. So the first thing we're going to do here is we need to create a droplet. A droplet, think of this as a little computer in the cloud, your own little computing space that's up in the cloud. It's a computer that's always on, always listening. We're going to go and set up that now. So the first step we're going to do here is log into DigitalOcean. I'm going to do these steps in a row here. Log into DigitalOcean. We're going to create a new droplet. That's point 2 here. and we're going to set up a droplet, and we're going to install Docker on that droplet. Doesn't matter what Docker is. Let's keep this simple. Just trust me. Let's work with that. Let's jump over into DigitalOcean. And here is my DigitalOcean account. Great. We're going to just set up a droplet. So we're going to click on droplet. Straightforward here. And now we literally just click through. Now choose a region. Choose a region that's relatively close to you. I have good results working in Amsterdam, so I'm going to choose Amsterdam. And then we're going to come down here, and we're actually going to go into Marketplace, because we have a little shortcut here, and we can actually set up a droplet that already has Docker installed. There it is. So we're going to choose that droplet, meaning we don't have to muck around with installing Docker. Things just got simpler. Now let's scroll down, and we are going to use a basic shared CPU. I'm going to just use a regular SSD chip here. You could definitely choose one of the faster ones if you want it, but I've been running n8n for years on a base package here, and cost me $6 a month. That's all, $6 a month. It's worked superbly. Never felt the need to go bigger. So stick with that for now. I'm going to enable SSH keys for me. Now, SSH keys are a way of accessing your computer in the sky so that you can configure it. If you don't know what SSH keys, don't worry, leave it alone. Click on the password option and type in a powerful password. This will be the password that you'll use to access your droplet to configure it. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But for me, I'm going to stick with SSH key for now, because I need some functionality in the future from this. So no problem. I'm going to now click on this option, which is just going to add some additional monitoring of my cloud computer. It's going to give me some dashboards. It's going to give me some graphs that I can better manage how things are working on my droplet. Don't worry about it. Just tick this box and move on. And finally, let's give this droplet a name. So I'm going to call this n8n. Let's automate it. You can call your droplet anything you want. I'd recommend just calling it n8n if this is your first time doing it. Just call it n8n and be done with it. That's fantastic. Now we're going to go ahead and create the droplet. So what DigitalOcean is doing now, as we can see, is it's busy spinning up a computer in the sky. It's happening as we watch it here. It's going to take a couple of minutes. And once it's done, we're going to have an IP address and move on to the next phase of installing us. We're already kind of 30% of the job done, and we've just got to wait until this is finished. Nice, straightforward, simple stuff. Let's keep going. There we have it. It's installed, our own little computer in the cloud, set up, ready to go. And here's an IP address. I'm just going to click on this to copy the IP address. Now we've got the IP address. That's the location. That's the address of where this computer is on the internet. But let's go back over to our instructions and see what's next. We're going to follow along. By the way, I'm going to put the link for these instructions in the description below so you can follow along as well. But here we go. We've completed step 4. We've created a new droplet using the Docker image. Great. Okay. Now it's going to ask us to log into the droplet and do a couple of things. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and come back to that because I actually want to set up the DNS records first, because that takes a little bit of time. And while the DNS is busy doing its thing, we can come back and do the previous steps. So what do I mean by DNS? I'm not even going to dive into DNS. I'm going to keep this simple. Just trust me, follow along. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to convert that IP address we just we just copied. We're going to convert that into a name. So we have a URL, an address we can type into our browser in order to be able to access our n8n. Our n8n is going to be on the internet. We need a browser to access it. And we don't want to be using an IP address to do that because who can remember numbers? Let's go and set up a name for that. So I'm going to log into my hosting account for my letsautomated.biz website. And I'm going to create a subdomain called n8n.letsautomated.biz. And I'm going to connect that IP address that we've just copied from DigitalOcean. I'm going to connect that to that URL so that when we access it, when we type in that name, n8n.letsautomated.biz, it's going to take us to our n8n server. Follow along with me. You can do exactly the same. Now, one little thing is you've probably got a website, so setting up a subdomain is going to be a little bit different for you, but principally it's all the same. So let's dive right in. So the first thing I want to do here, I want to access my DNS server, my DNS editor. I'm using a great company called Fast Comet, and they call it a zone editor. And I'm here in the DNS server of my host. If you're not sure about this, ask your host for help. In fact, you can even ask them to do this for you, and they should do it. But I'm going to add a record, and I'm going to add a record and just call it n8n. And this is going to be an A record, which is already, and I'm just going to paste in that IP address, and I'm going to save record. Simple as that. That was so easy, and you can definitely do that, not a problem. There's going to be a very similar method, and we want to do the same for a WW record as well. There's a reason for that, which I'm not going to dive into because it's a bit techie, and we're trying to not be techie. So there we go. You'll notice I just actually typed in, let me do that again. I just typed in www, and then I need to type in .n8n. I skipped that step. So that's gone in there, and I don't need to type the whole name. It just automatically puts in the primary domain behind that. Just go www.n8n, or if you're doing the first record, you just put n8n, and then we will save record. Now, it can take up to 24 hours, even 48 hours for this to update around the world, for all the DNS servers around the world, to get the information that there's a new address in town. But sometimes it can actually happen in about 30 minutes. So that's why we're doing it now, so that it's busy doing that process, what we call propagating. It's busy propagating that while we move on to the next steps. So moving forward, let's go and dive back into our instructions and see where we are. So we've set up the DNS. We've just completed that. So let's scroll back to where we were before. We're going to go back up on our instructions here, and there we're back here. So we've completed the droplet. Now we need to log into our droplet and create a new user. So we're going to just go through these steps. This is where it gets slightly technical. Don't worry. We're literally going to cut and paste, do as I do. Everything's going to work out 100% fine, and you're going to have your own n8n to play with in a couple of minutes' time. So let's do that. Now, we need to go back to DigitalOcean so that we can log in. So I'm going to go back to my DigitalOcean account. And here I have my droplet that I've set up. And if I just click on these dots here, I can access console. So I'm going to access console. All right, we're going to launch droplet console. And now this is launching an interface, a way that we can configure and install software on our new cloud server. So it's a bit different to what you may be used to on your PC or on your Mac, where you've got an operating system. This is a little bit different, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do it, and the instructions inside the documentation are going to show us how to do this as well. Let's do this. Let's separate the screen here. Give me a second. There we go. Now we've got our fantastic. Now we've got our instructions right next to our console. So let's get started. Here we go. So number one, login is root, done. That's it. But this is what we've done on the right hand side here. Now we need to add username. So I'm just going to click this to copy it and click back onto that. Control V, and now I have it there. But now we need to use our cursor keys to navigate. So we're going to just add a username. I'm just going to call that n8n. That's great. Once that's done, just hit enter. It's now created a user for us. Now, new user's been created. There you can see it. It's asking for some extra information. I'm just going to hit enter, move past that. It is asking us for a password. So let's just try that again. I'm going to put a password in here. And now, of course, it's not going to show us the password. This is security. So I have typed in a password. It's not showing it. And we're going to put that password in again. So let's just do that. The password's in. And it's going to ask us for some details now. You're going to hit the enter key to move past this. This is not important. And is the information correct? We put in a capital Y. Yes. Great. So we've created that user. Fantastic. Let's now go to step number 4 here, and we need to give some user privileges to that. I'm not going to dive into why we're doing this. This is for non-techies. Let's keep this straightforward, but I'm just going to use my cursor key again to replace that with the new username we've just created. So we're going to do that. Fantastic. All right, so those privileges have been granted. Moving swiftly along. Let's now go and move into getting the actual software onto our server. So we are going to clone this repository from GitHub. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. Just go and grab this URL, paste it in there, hit enter. And it goes and fetches, this is basically the code base. It's going to fetch the software, not the software, the code, the dots and dashes that make it. All right, now we on that go the next one here, cd n8n docker caddy. And this is just going to change the directory in here. Again, I'm keeping this super simple. Just cut and paste with me here. Don't worry about what we're actually doing. If you want to dive into how you can run Linux commands and so forth, absolutely. There's a ton of stuff on YouTube about how to do that, but we're going to keep it simple. All right, so that's been done. Now it's explaining a couple of things to us. Now we need to do something called create Docker volumes. What does that do? It doesn't matter. It's just part of installing n8n. So we're going to paste that in there, hit enter, and boom, done. Now we're going to create a Docker volume for the n8n data. I'm going to copy that as well, paste that in there, hit that, boom. And done. Okay, now we've moved up to set up DNS, and we actually did that earlier because we wanted this DNS to be propagating while we were working, so we can skip right past that because that's busy happening in the background. Already done that step. And now we want to open ports. Again, what does that mean? Doesn't matter. Let's just copy that, paste it in here, and we're going to hit enter, and it's now opened some ports. This is just so that our computer in the cloud, our droplet, can listen and hear the internet and pass information backwards and forwards. All right, great. That's most of the work done. Now we've got a little bit more tricky stuff to do. So follow along, pay close attention here. We need to edit a file. We need to edit a file called .env. And nano here is the command that just opens an editor so we can edit this file. So I'm just going to copy that, head back into my console, hit enter, and it's opened a editor for us. So now we're going to make some changes in here. Use your cursor keys to navigate around. Your mouse won't work. And anywhere you see these placeholders, we need to replace them. So just follow along with me now. Just going to put this in the root folder. All right, we need to put in the domain, the top level domain of the URL we set up on the DNS server. And for me, that is let's automate it.biz. The top level domain, make sure you haven't made a mistake. So whatever the name of your website is that you've created a subdomain on, just put the name of the website there. So yourwebsite.com, your website .io, .biz, .ai, whatever it is, you work with that. And now come down to the next one. Now we called our subdomain n8n. If you recall, for me it was n8n.letsautomateit.biz. That's what we put into our DNS server. So that's done. We won't mess with that. We'll leave the time zone where it is at the moment, Europe and Berlin. Those can be changed later inside the software. And if you want put an SSL certificate on, which you absolutely must do, we're going to throw in your email address so you can get notifications about that SSL certificate. This is just a security feature for your website. So if you don't know what SSL is, don't worry about it. Just put in your email address. There's my one. Now we need to save these changes. So down at the bottom here, we have some commands on how we can save the changes. I'm going to make it easy for you. Control X. If I go Control X, it pops up a command and it says save modified buffer. We have made changes. So I'm just going to hit Y for yes. And then I'm going to hit enter here because we want to keep the file name as .env. Do not change this file name. Keep it like it is. We're going to hit enter, and that's going to save our changes. And we have edited our env file successfully. Well done. Let's keep scrolling down. Okay. Now it wants us, let's have a look at this Docker Compose file. You'll see here we've got nano. That was the editor. And we used that nano editor before. But here we're just going to have a look at this. There shouldn't be any changes we need to make, but let's be certain. So I'm just going to copy that, pop this in here. And there is our file. And let's just quickly scan it, and nothing should need to be changed here. Everything is fantastic to me. So we can get out of here straight away. That's going to be Control X. And it didn't ask me to save anything because I didn't make any changes, and I'm back into my normal interface for our console on our DigitalOcean droplet. So that's done. Okay. Now we need to configure this file here. And again, you'll notice here's nano. So let's grab hold of that. Go over here, and it's going to open an editor for us. And there we go. And as you can see, we actually have some placeholders here. We need to make some changes. So we have to put in our domain. This is the domain that we want to use in order to access our n8n. The same one we set up in our DNS server. So let's go and put that in there. So this is the address that is going to be where you're going to find your n8n. Let's automate it.biz. That's all you need to do. Make sure you've got no spelling mistakes in there. Now, once again, we go Control X, save modified buffer, yes. And here at the bottom, you could asking it to confirm the file name, leave it as is by hitting enter. And we've made those changes. That's fantastic. Right, we're actually done. Now it's just time to turn it all on. So how do we do that? Well, just go and grab this command, start docker compose. We don't need to understand what that is. We just need to copy that, put that there, paste it, and boom, off it goes. It's pulling data from n8n. Here it is downloading all the tools and things that it needs. Don't worry about it. What it means is let it run. There we go. It's done. That should actually be our n8n set up. But let's have a little check first. I'm going to go over to a tool called DNS checker. And I'm actually just going to type in that subdomain. And let's just see. This is checking to see whether that IP address and this name for this URL have been linked up successfully and been recognized. So let's just do a search for that. And we're looking for green ticks. And you'll notice that that's the IP address all around the world. That's the IP address that we put into our DNS server. So that's looking good. So let's go open a new tab here. And let's go to n8n. Let's automate it.biz. Let's hit enter. And there we have it. If you followed along with these instructions, you are set up. You can follow along now, go set up your owner account. This is straightforward. This is logging and creating an account, but you're creating an account with yourself. And you're going to be able to access your n8n and be able to start making magic with n8n. We're going to cover in a different video how to use n8n, how it works, what you can do with it. But congratulations, you now have your own n8n set up. The world of automation is now at your fingertips. You can run as many as you want for free. Only thing you're paying here is $6 a month in order to run your server. And if you compare that to the cost of Zapier, Make.com, some of the other tools out there, this is by far the best way to do it. It's also incredibly flexible and a powerful tool. I love it. We'll dive into the next video on how to start setting up n8n and using it for yourself. Thanks for following along. Let me know how you get on in the comments. Love to hear from you. And in the comments down below, in the description, I'm going to put all the links that you need that we've gone through here. But that's it. You now have n8n up and running. Have fun. I'll catch you later.